so today's video is going to be finally reading the Hunger Games trilogy. So we have the 3 books here. I'm trying to hold them up so I don't drop them. But yes, we are finally starting the Hunger Games series, you guys. I actually already started the first book, but these have been on my TBR since literally when I was a teenager. All right, and we are finally going to read them. I feel like a lot of people who are a little bit older have not read the series, and you know what? That's totally fine. I feel like, though, as you're a reader, you kind of need to read these books. So we got the first book, which is obviously The Hunger Games by Suzanne Collins, and then we have Catching Fire, and then we have Mockingjay. So I heard that Mockingjay is literally going to wreck me. I don't know if I'm prepared for it. You know, I've read a lot of super emotional books, but I already know this is probably going to be a 6-star series for me. Probably going to be 6-star books, honestly. And since I said, like, I haven't rated each book in a series 6 stars since Beartown, and I said, like, you know, I've never rated any books in series, like, all the books in a series, I mean, 6 stars. I've rated, like, a whole series 6 stars, or I've rated a single book 6 stars, or, like I said, Beartown. But, yeah, I'm so excited. So we already started reading the first book. I actually borrowed the audiobook from the library, and I think I'm about 25% of the way through so far. Because after I finished the book that I did earlier today, let me just see how far in I am in the audiobook. Oh, I'm actually 31% of the way through. Okay. That's pretty much exactly where I wanted to be today, because I did finish the 3rd book in the Glimmer Falls series, and I believe that's the final book. So I finished a series to start a new series, but honestly, I just really wanted to immerse myself into a series, and what better series to do that with than The Hunger Games? So far, we made it through the first 100 pages. So we're on page 114, so that is really, really good. I think I'm going to try and read some of this physically now because I'm home and I want to read a little bit of this before I finish the episode of Desperate Housewives. But so far, if you guys don't know, if you've lived under a rock, like pretty much like The Hunger Games is like pretty much our modern Lord of the Rings. Like that's how big this series was. And actually Harry Potter came before The Hunger Games, which is actually crazy. Because there hasn't really been a series to come along that, you know, swept the globe like Harry Potter did since Lord of the Rings. Then Harry Potter came along, and then Hunger Games, I think, was almost 10 years later, which I cannot believe that, but Hunger Games swept the world. Like, everybody was obsessed with this series. They became movies really, really fast. I've seen all of the movies. I have not seen the new one, though, which is The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. But if you guys don't know what it's about a girl named Katniss Everdeen, and she has to volunteer as tribute, which is like the world-famous line in the movies. In the first movie, where she volunteers for her sister, Prim, to compete in the Hunger Games, which means it is a fight to the death. And basically, they have to compete in order to survive. And pretty much the only person that survives is the champion of the Hunger Games every year. This has inspired so many YA series today, so I wanted to go back and actually read the original inspiration for so many trial-inspired romances, fantasies, you name it. Pretty much, if they have trials in them, they were pretty much inspired by the Hunger Games. So far, I'm absolutely loving it, and then I'm hoping to start the 2nd book by Monday. probably will finish this Monday afternoon, and then I'll just jump right into the second book. We'll see. I'll probably just start listening to it, the same thing that I did with this one. But I wanted to start listening to it first because, again, these books intimidate me so much. And I had a feeling I was going to, be wrecked reading these. But I was only hoping that I might be a little bit more prepared because I've seen the movies before I've read the books. And I've seen the movies multiple times. But I don't really remember that much about it. But after... Because the last time I watched the movies were like years ago. Also, I'm talking about the Hunger Games as I'm wearing my Akatar Valaris shirt. Because I did go out earlier with my friends, but now I'm home and now I can read, thank God. But also, the thing that inspired me to finally pick up the Hunger Games and what finally gave me the push to read them is because I placed a hold on the Sunrise on the Reaping book, which is the new book in the Hunger Games world. It is the second prequel after the Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. But everybody recommends that you have to read the trilogy first. And one of my friends is telling me, like, it is recommended for you to read the trilogy first. And I'm like, I know, Becca, like, I am going to read the trilogy first, but that's the whole reason that I got inspired to pick this up, because I don't want my Libby hold to expire. Well, my Libby loan, because now I was able to borrow it, and I was able to borrow it like yesterday, but it came through, and I'm like, okay, this like really lit a fire under my ass to actually start the series, and I'm absolutely 100% loving it. It's like so masterful, to be honest. Like, this is a masterful piece of literature. Like, the way that Suzanne Collins writes this book is genius. So I am so excited to keep on going. I'm a little bit almost hesitant to start reading the physical book, but they're not really that long. They're like all under 400 pages. So I'm just so happy I finally did this. It's also on my 25 and 2025, so we're going to vlog the entire thing. Hopefully I'm not completely destroyed after this, but yeah, my goal is to finish the trilogy by like May 2nd, because I'm just going to binge all of it. I don't know if that's a mistake, but we still have 5 days to finish the first 2 books. I'm hoping to start Mockingjay by the 30th. Which I think we will be able to do if I finish Catching Fire by the 29th. Because today's the 26th of April, so that gives me 4 days to finish the first 2 books, and I think that will be totally doable. And then Mockingjay, we can start the 30th. And then I probably will be completely destroyed, but then I was going to read Swift and Saddled. And then after that, I was going to go into the Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, which I can hopefully start by the 3rd, so then I can read, I think I'm still not going to be able to start Sunrise on the Reaping until the day before my loan expires. So I don't know how many breaks I'm going to have to take with that, and also I'm not going to be able to get the audiobook. I mean, I might place a hold for the audiobook as well. Maybe I'll be able to get it, but I'm not going to vlog both of those in this video. I think I'm just going to vlog the original trilogy because y'all know I can never shut the fuck up. So unless I decide to vlog the whole thing, we'll see. Maybe we will. But yeah, I'm going to go and I will update you guys when I'm like 75% of the way through this. And then we will tell you guys my final thoughts. But I think I already know that this is going to be a 5-star read. Like, it's the Hunger Games. How can it not be? So yeah, bye. Okay, so hey there guys. So we didn't just get 75% in, we finished this already. I completely devoured this book. This book was unputdownable, so 5 stars. 5 stars. How could I rate it any lower? I don't care that like most people rate the first couple of books only 4 stars. This was a 5-star. Like, there's no way. And it was just incredible. Like, you get so much more background from reading the physical books than the movies, and I think I'm just gonna watch the movie now, like a half hour from now. I'm gonna shower, get my ass into bed, and I'm gonna watch the movie because I'm dying to see how they correlate. And that's exactly what I was going to do when I picked up these books finally, is that I was going to read the movies, watch the movies right after. But yeah, this was incredible. If you read any books in your life, you need to read these. And I don't know why I put these off for so long, because like literally I devoured this. I could not stop thinking about it all day at work. I'm like, I literally cannot wait to get back home to finish this book. So it's just, if you've seen the movies, you understand what happens. So basically, Katniss has to survive the trials of the Hunger Games and fight to the death to save her district and to, you know, bring her mom and her sister money so they can survive, because they all live in separate districts, and there's districts 1 through 12, or I think 12 and 13, I think 13 is the last one, I'm not really sure. But I am so beyond excited to read the prequels, especially the Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, because then we find out how the Hunger Games started and how everything originated. And for any books to have prequels, these books have like such an essentialness to have a prequel. So I'm just like kind of speechless. I don't even know what to say about this, because I really loved it. So, and I literally finished this in like a day, because I started it. I didn't start this until like 3 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon, after I finished A Werewolf's Guide to Seducing a Vampire yesterday at like 2 or 3 p.m. in the afternoon. Then I got ready to see my friends, and I started listening to this book, and then I listened to the book back and forth, and then I listened to it before I went to got into bed, and I think I was up to like page 150 already, and I think I read like 20 pages physically. And then I listened to some more in the shower, and I think I was up to part 2 already, and I think I was up to page like 195 before I went to sleep. And then today, I got almost 100 pages in listening to it. Well, I read like 30 pages this morning, and I think I was up to like page like 223 this morning. And then, or maybe like 233, because I think I read a little bit more than like 30 pages, maybe almost 40 pages this morning. And then I listened to it, and then by the time I went to work, I think I had gotten through another like 50 pages. And then I listened to it back and forth from work, which is only like 10 minutes away. And then I listened to some more when I got changed after work. And then by that point, I was up to page like 272 or 273. And then I just finished the rest of it physically. Or maybe it was like 285 or something like that. And then I just read like the last 80 to 90 pages now. So I read over 100 pages of this today, like physically. And I devoured this. Like, there's no way you can't read this book like at double the speed that you read normal books, because you literally just, they're so immersive and they're so fast paced, and I just can't believe it took me this long to pick this up. I loved it so much. So you really just have to read the books. I can't really say much, but if you've seen the movies, like I actually like forgot like half the shit that happened in the movies. I just know, you know, Katniss is Katniss, you know. She survives the Hunger Games. Like the whole trilogy is about Katniss Everdeen, so it can't be about her if she doesn't survive them. So we're going to jump into the second book probably right now, because I'm going to start listening to the audiobook again. And then we're just going to watch the first movie. But look how it reflects in the light. That's pretty cool. So yeah, I'm super excited to start this one. Also, the first one is the shortest. I think this one is a tad bit longer. I think it's like 393. I think both of the second and the third one are 393 or 390. Yeah. It's not even that long. So we're probably going to finish this by like Tuesday. So, because I don't really want to read that much tonight, but at the same time, like I'm dying to get into the second book, even though I generally know what happens. I remembered more about the first book than I do about this one. I really do not remember this book at all. I mean, this movie at all, or really the third movie either. But I know somebody dies. Somebody had already died that she cared about in this book. So there's going to be a hell of a lot more deaths in this one. because it's going to be her, believe, her second Hunger Games. So, yeah, shit's going to go down. So excited. You also get a lot about Haymitch in the first book. So there was like something that I noticed that they said. I want to point this out really quick because this probably has everything to do with, oh, Jesus. My chair almost went overboard. With Sunrise on the Reaping. And I took a picture of this page. It says, Katniss says, but you didn't know me. We had never spoken. She's speaking to Peeta. Besides, the first gift that's always the hardest to pay back. The first gift that's always the hardest gift to pay back. I wouldn't even have been there to do it if you hadn't helped me then, I say. Why did you anyway? Why? You know why, Peeta says. I give my head a slight painful shake. Haymitch said you would take a lot of convincing. Haymitch? I ask, what's he got to do with it? Nothing, Peeta says. So Cato and Thresh, huh? I guess it's too much to hope that they'll simultaneously destroy each other. I think we would like Thresh. I think he'd be our friend back in District 12. So I'm having a feeling that's like giving a little bit of foreshadowing about Sunrise on the Reaping. Or it was a conversation that Peeta had with Haymitch before the Hunger Games even started, or that Haymitch was also helping Peeta as well. So we're going to get more so about how Haymitch contributed to helping both of them out in the second and third books. But I also feel like everybody says that Haymitch's Sunrise on the Reaping story is absolutely heartbreaking, and I think that's the book that's going to destroy me the most, and that's why I was putting this series off for so long. But sorry, my freaking Siri went off. So yeah, I'm just super exhausted. I'm sorry, I don't have that much to say right now, but so excited to continue the series. So I will check in with you guys when I get like 25% in tomorrow. So bye. Okay, so hey there guys. So I wanted to make a check-in on where I'm at in Catching Fire, which is the second book in the Hunger Games by Suzanne Collins. So I'm actually on page 109. I've actually just been listening to the audiobook of this. I haven't even read it physically yet. I'm about to read it physically for like an hour, and then I have to get ready to see my friend. I actually thought I was going to have more time to read this today, but honestly, I'm glad I don't, because it's actually a beautiful day today, and I'm going out earlier than I thought I was. I think I'm going to leave around like 3 o'clock. But so far, this is so good. I literally am completely immersed in the Hunger Games worlds. And basically, I'm going to get a little spoilery right now. I mean, it is the Hunger Games. They've been out for like a long time, but regardless if it has been, you know, I still hadn't read them yet. I think they've been out almost like 15 years at this point, which is crazy. But I am going to get a little spoilery, so if you don't want to be spoiled, you can skip ahead. But basically, at the end of the first book, Katniss and Peeta win the Hunger Games. So now they are kind of under threat and in danger of the Capitol, because President Snow is not happy with what Katniss did in order for both of them to win the Hunger Games. So she is living under constant threat of what she should do after President Snow is like, you know, you showed us up, because like the whole point of the Hunger Games is for someone else to kill that person, and that's how the champion wins, is by killing everyone. And she like had a loophole of like her and Peeta, you know, unaliving themselves together, and the Capitol didn't like that, so they declared both of them the winners, because they basically had to, because at first they had said if there are two victors from the same district, they're allowed to be the winners of the Hunger Games. Meaning, like, this would be the first time ever that there would be two winners. because usually, again, there's only one victor. I actually started watching the first movie last night. I got an hour and a half in, and I've seen the movies. I really only remember the first one. I really don't remember what happened in the second one. I didn't even remember that they both won until like, I mean, actually, I did remember that they both won, but I forgot how. And I was like, oh, but I did actually tear up a little bit at that part when Peeta was talking about it's okay, Katniss, like, you can let me go, like, let me die, pretty much. And I was crying a little. So they still got me to cry. I'm sure I'm going to cry at the end of this one, too. But I can't believe how fast I'm flying through these, honestly. The audiobooks make it so much easier, but also, like, I literally do not want to put it down, like, when I'm doing anything remotely. But I can't believe I already made it through the first 100 pages. And, like, I only started listening to this, like, I think when... I don't even know. I just started listening to it when I was getting ready for bed. So I really didn't think I got through this much already. Like, I gotten through, like, the first 60 pages, and then I just listened to, like, 2 chapters this morning, and then I'm already on page 109. So, yeah, that's pretty much it. So that's what's happening in this book right now. I'm not going to say anything else. So basically and there's also, like, uprisings happening in the other districts because they are, rebelling against these Hunger Games because they don't want to keep on preparing themselves to die every year, and nobody knows like who it is going to be every year. And basically they don't want to, live their lives in fear of being destined to die, which, we all are, but at the same time it's like when somebody is faced with fighting for their survival, obviously people will do anything to for their survival. Oh, and also it is so surreal watching the movie now because it's like seeing it portrayed on screen, it's a hard like movie to watch because it's like it's really hard to kind of desensitize yourself to what is actually happening to these people. It's very tragic, and it's just like you really have to kind of, I mean, you still care about them, but like I feel like the Hunger Games was so massively successful because like again there was nothing else like it out there, but also like she really did change the YA genre for such a long time. And I know I actually watched this other video where they say like, why do we put like white darlings as like, the kind of like the most hyped up authors and genres over the past like 20 years? Because I didn't realize that like all 3 of the biggest series in the past 20 years have all been from white female authors. And I really didn't realize that. Like Harry Potter by J.K. Rowling, which out of all 3 of the authors, J.K. Rowling can go herself because I really hate her now. But like, you can't talk about fantasy without really talking about Harry Potter's influence on and YA fantasy without talking about Harry Potter. It kind of changed YA fantasy forever. And then The Hunger Games changed the whole genre of YA. But like I said, I think Suzanne Collins did it out of the 3 of them in the most ingenious kind of way. I think that she doesn't have like beautiful lyrical writing. It's just like, this is what happens, this is what happens, this is what happens, and nothing slows down. Every single line, every single word is to just accelerate the plot, to tell you what's happening. She doesn't confuse the writer in any way. She just like tells you this is what is happening. He's gonna die, he's gonna live. This is what happens, and you just have to accept the consequences, So that's why I think I love her writing so much. But also, like I said, you can't really talk about the YA genre without talking about the Hunger Games, because honestly, the Hunger Games probably had the biggest influence out of all of these authors that I'm talking about, because this is still having longevity today.
And even though, like, Suzanne Collins is only really known for the Hunger Games, she has written other books. But I am probably not even going to read them because I was dying to just read the whole Hunger Games universe. But the fact that, like, these books are still hyped today, like the prequels, says that these books are infamous, pretty much. Like, I feel like even though J.K. Rowling would come out with a Harry Potter book now, like 20 years later, it probably would still be successful. But since she has tainted the Harry Potter world so much with her viewpoints on trans people, I don't really see as many people supporting Harry Potter as I do with Hunger Games because Suzanne Collins doesn't do that shit. So I just think she's a genius. And I think that I feel like genius is like thrown around so much. But honestly, you can't really say that Suzanne Collins wasn't a genius for writing the Hunger Games. So, and then the other one is Fourth Wing, the Empyrean series by Rebecca Yarros, and she basically changed the new adult genre now. Because Fourth Wing is fucking huge. And then we also have Powerless. But I would say out of both of them, I would say the Empyrean series is definitely like the biggest series in the past like 3 years. Um, Even though yes, Powerless has a huge following as well, I don't think it's at as big of a global scale as Fourth Wing is, and we haven't really had that phenomenon since the Hunger Games. Isn't that crazy how long it's been? But again, Rebecca Yarros is a white author, and she's a female white author, so I just thought that that was interesting because I was like, I didn't really think about it that way. So yeah, I'm just going to continue reading. I have to get ready soon to see my friends, so I will check in later, maybe when I'm 75% of the way through. Hopefully it's not when I've finished the book already, so we'll see. Bye.
So you guys, remember that I said I was hoping to make a check-in when I was like 75% into this book? We finished it. We finished it. Finished in a day. Like, what? Excuse me, what? I devoured this. Again. Devoured it. And again. 5 stars. 5 stars. I cannot give this series less than 5 stars. Each book in this series. Like, call me biased. I don't care. These books are incredible. And in this one, I just can't believe I finished it so quickly. I think I read like 95 pages of it physically. I wanted to read like the last chapter physically. But then I only had like 5 minutes left in the last chapter that I was listening to. So I was like, might as well finish it. Right? Right? So that's it. We're done. I cannot believe it. I'm kind of speechless because, and I'm also really tired. But basically, all of part 3 was about Katniss and Peeta surviving a second Hunger Games because and I'm gonna get a little spoilery again. Sorry, it is the Hunger Games, but if you don't want to be spoiled, just skip ahead a little bit. But basically, it's about both of them surviving another Hunger Games because this is why their lives were in danger from the end of book 1 and why what they did at the end of the first Hunger Games was totally against the Capitol and President Snow. And basically Haymitch needs to keep Peeta and Katniss alive no matter what. Originally it came down to Haymitch or Peeta going into the arena, but then of course it ended up being Peeta. And even though like Peeta's not the strongest or the fastest or any type of way, like he's really not as physically strong as like half of the other tributes that enter the arena. But his best strategy is with words. And Katniss, like I said before, is a hunter, so I think I need to change my pajamas though. I'm so goddamn tired though. I'm just so hot now. I thought I was gonna be cold, but yeah, I'm just really, really tired though. God damn it. But anyway, so basically, like, they make a deal with everyone in the arena to keep Katniss and Peeta alive. And basically what happens at the end kind of flips, everything even under proportion, flips everything on its head. I mean, under proportion. What am I saying? Because, like I said before, the districts are rebelling, so meaning that all the districts are at risk of what happens to their people. It's like basically martial law everywhere. And again, I actually didn't end up crying in this one. I almost did at like one part, but it wasn't as deeply emotional as the first book was. But I just didn't end up crying in this one. Probably because in the first book you end up being desensitized to everyone being killed, even though I feel like these are harder reads than Fourth Wing. Because in Fourth Wing, Rebecca Yarros, again, everything is inspired by the Hunger Games pretty much, and the whole, dystopian or fantasy genres today. That you can tell that Rebecca Yarros got a lot of inspiration from the Hunger Games because of the whole, like, militaristic, desensitizing view on killing and killing human beings. So yeah, it was just really good. I'm really tired, so that's where we leave off. I'm gonna finish the first movie now because I got like an hour and a half into it last night, so I'm gonna finish the last hour now. And then we will watch Catching Fire tomorrow night. I'm very excited because I really do not remember the second movie at all, but now my memory's refreshed because I read the second book. So yeah, just a wild ride, but also I'm so happy because, like I said before, the Hunger Games was on my 25 in 2025, and now I can read Sunrise on the Reaping very soon, so I'm very excited. So yeah, that's it. Bye.
Okay, so hey there, guys. So I wanted to give you guys an update on where I'm at in Mockingjay by Suzanne Collins, which is the last book in the Hunger Games trilogy. I cannot believe, like I said, that I'm on the last book. So I started the last book this morning, and I'm on page 178. So I think I only read 50 pages of it physically, but I'm about to read some more. And then I, again, have just been blasting through the audiobooks of these. But, like, the audiobooks are just so exciting to listen to for this series. And also, since I didn't spend my own money on these books, my mom bought these, like, 20 years ago. It's not really a huge deal if I don't read these physically. But I'm still reading. It's just, like, I think I end up reading like maybe 100 pages of them physically, but I'm still reading 100 pages a day. So I'm about to read some more. I'm going to be reading some more very soon. Why can't I speak? So basically in this one, the districts are rebelling, and it puts Peeta and Katniss both in very present danger, and basically, they have to appease to President Snow again, but President Snow is not really taking Katniss's rebellion and Peeta's rebellion seriously, so he starts hurting the districts. And basically, the whole reason why this is centered around Katniss is because she's really the only person that has, shown some type of resistance that has resulted in anything that could start like a revolution within the districts. So we have people like escaping other districts and like food in my mouth. I didn't brush my teeth yet. Because I went out earlier with my friend. We went and saw The Amateur. It was pretty good, actually. But we ate before that. We had like one of our favorite Asian places, and it was really good. So
yeah, I usually always get the sesame chicken there. It's so good. But anyway, so her, so like people are fleeing their districts. Some districts are being completely destroyed. Actually, one of them was completely wiped out. And we also found out what happened to District 13, I think in the second book. And then in the third book, there's some conspiracy going on as to whether or not District 13 is actually still existing. So, and also Katniss is, kind of, there's kind of like a love triangle going on in the third book because we all know that she, had started a romance with Peeta in the first book, but that was really for like show for the Hunger Games, so then they might help star-crossed lovers like survive the Hunger Games, and that was like mostly why the Capitol couldn't really kill both of them in the first book. But also ever since then, President Snow has realized how dangerous Katniss is because she is the Mockingjay, meaning that it's kind of similar almost to the Nightingale, actually. I didn't even realize that. But I think this also came out way before. But you could also say that the Nightingale was kind of inspired by Mockingjay. I don't know if that's a stretch, but like basically in the Nightingale, like a fictional character becomes like basically the Nightingale means that they are a very strong messenger in World War II, meaning like with the Holocaust and Nazis and everything. And it is kind of similar to what's going on in the Hunger Games because President Snow is a dictator. So it's a YA dystopian. But it's a very extreme way of looking at the world. Like I said before, these aren't easy books to read. They're incredible because they explain such a futuristic narrative that, is like a very extreme way of government and controlling people, like controlling your subjects. So yeah, it's been really good so far. So basically that's what's been going on. And Katniss has had a lot of threats to her life, but she is wearing like the Mockingjay pin because she is the Mockingjay. So yeah, it's just been really good so far. I'm probably gonna finish it tomorrow. I mean, I am finishing it tomorrow. There's no question about that. So I'll probably get over page 200 tonight. So I'll just finish the last like 150 pages tomorrow. I really do want to watch the second movie. So I did actually finish the first movie last night. And it's great. Like, honestly, I think the first book is my favorite, but I think I'm going to be crushed by this one. I really liked the second one, but also I had like a 4.75 feeling out of the second book, but then I, of course, just rounded it up to a 5. But I think Mockingjay is going to be a 5-star. But also, like, the first book is just, like, such a impactful book on the YA genre. And like I said, these books changed YA forever. So I'm just so glad that I'm reading these so that I can see how other books with not even with trials, but just, like, other YA books in general, like YA fantasy or dystopian, were inspired by the Hunger Games. Because it really is amazing. So, yeah. I'll check in when I'm finished, because I'm probably not going to check in again until I'm finished, so bye. So you guys, that's it. We finished it. We finished Mockingjay, meaning we finished all 3 books. So, we finished the Hunger Games series. I'm so happy. I'm so happy I finally read these books, you guys. Like, how the fuck could I keep on putting these books off? Like, seriously. Could I really call myself a reader if I didn't read The Hunger Games? Like, are you kidding me? I still think the first one was my favorite. I don't know. This one I thought about for days, but I mean, I finished it in a day. And I really did like the second one and the third one, but I think the third one definitely is my second favorite, and then Catching Fire. But after I watch the movies, I think I'll have a better just understanding and more of a visual again, because like I said, I did finish the first movie 2 days ago. Or actually, like, yeah, 2 days ago. I didn't have time to start the second movie last night because I got home too late. But I watched an episode of Desperate Housewives. But yeah, so the third book, this was crazy, y'all. I didn't cry. I think I was just more numb than anything else. I think because I'm just in awe and shock of the power this series has over somebody and how, like I said, impactful it is to if you've never read them. So yeah, 5 stars for all 3 books, 6-star series definitely, but 5 stars for each book. I wouldn't say any of them were 6 stars, but still 5 stars. Like, how can I give it anything less? Like, seriously. So basically, for the second half of this book, it's, the districts are looking to Katniss to have hope, to basically start a whole new political system and a democracy, pretty much, because President Snow is totally obsessed with power and balance, and he doesn't really care about human life, to be honest, except for his own. Because why is it that his people are sacrificing themselves for his power? That's basically what a dictator does. So, there's multiple upsetting scenes where, like, entire districts are getting wiped out and bombed, and it's very reminiscent of, like, World War II and the Holocaust, and, it's very hard to read. So, and they almost started another Hunger Games, and they were like, which I guess means that wasn't really tied up, because they voted for one, but they never ended up executing it, I don't think. So maybe that'll be the next one. Who knows? Maybe there'll be something after this, but as far as we know, there's only been 2 prequels, and the prequels, the Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, I don't think came out until like 10 years later. I actually just started the audiobook of it, so but I'm not going to read it until tomorrow, like on my Kindle, because I just need a break from the Hunger Games world right now, but I'm definitely reading it tomorrow or the day after, and hopefully I can finish it within 2 days. But I started a palate cleanser today. I started Swift and Saddled. So anyway, amazing series. I really, really enjoyed it. So that's basically what it was about. And basically, Katniss needs to figure out who she can trust and who is loyal to her and who is loyal to President Snow. That's basically why the whole rebellion and war happens in the third book, is because she is leading the rebellion and President Snow doesn't like that shit. So yeah, seriously amazing. So now I'm gonna watch all the movies, and I'm so excited to see what is different from the movies than that was in the books, because there was definitely a few significant things that were different the way that than from the way that she describes the way that they happen in the books. Like there's this, I'll just say this one thing because it's not spoilery. But also, again, if you haven't read these books and you're watching this vlog, I did tell you guys, like, where you should skip ahead. Why can't I put this back like a normal person? So there's, like, this one part in the book, like, Haymitch basically says to Katniss, as soon as you get into the arena, always just find a water source. So it actually takes her way longer to find water in the book than it does in the movie. Like, she, like, goes, like, a whole day without water. She, like, falls asleep and wakes up in the morning and she's still thirsty because she still hadn't found water. But she obviously needed to, she was actually walking around for, like, hours trying to find water, and then she ends up, you know, falling asleep in a tree because, you know, the higher you are, the safer you are. So she always goes and climbs trees to sleep in. And then when she decides to go find water in the morning, that's when she finally locates it, because she finds like I think it was an animal that had like a wet nose, and that meant that like she could find water nearby, or maybe that was a different part in Catching Fire. I really can't remember. But anyway, it's not as easy as it makes it in the book, because like in the book there's a lot more scenes that take place in the lake that they find. But she finds it like right away in the movie, like literally right after she runs away from the center of the arena, after like, the first people get killed. She goes into the woods and basically just finds water after she stops running. So yeah, but it's like, it's not that important, but I just wanted to point out one significant difference. But it was so cool, like, hearing the lines again, like, straight out of the book. So it was just an awesome experience, and I can't wait to watch the rest of the movie. So yeah, that's it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I literally finished this trilogy in like 4 days. I finished The Hunger Games in like a day, from like the 26th to the 27th. I started it on like the afternoon of the 26th and finished it the 27th. So I guess like each book took me like a day and a half. But literally Catching Fire, I think, only took me a day. Because I finished that the whole day, the 28th. And then I started Mockingjay yesterday, which was the 29th. And I finished it today, literally 2 hours ago, like at 5:20ish. And it's like 7 o'clock right now. So like less than 2 hours ago. So it took me a day and a half to finish it. And I could not put these books down. They were so, so, so good. But I think I might actually film my wrap up now, because like I'd rather film it when I am not doing my makeup this time. And also, I read 20 books this month. So it's going to be way too long if I decide to do my makeup at the same time. So I'm just going to film it now. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. So please like and subscribe. Follow me on my Instagram at TBW819 and check out my Goodreads linked below. I know I keep on saying that, but I keep on not doing it. But I will totally link it below. I promise. I totally will. Like, oh my God. So... Such a dummy. But I'm not going to be vlogging reading the Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes and Sunrise on the Reaping in this. I just wanted me to vlog the original trilogy of me reading it. Why can't I speak? I wanted to vlog me. So, yeah, but I'm still thinking about it. I think I'm still kind of numbed by it. I thought I was going to cry after I read it, but I also think because I read it at Barnes & Noble, I originally was going to read it at the library, but the library was actually closed today, and I was like, what do you mean it's closed? And they're like, yeah, it's like closed for training, and there was like a sign up in the parking lot, and I was like, what? So, and I wanted to see if they possibly had a copy of Sunrise on the Reaping, but they didn't. Well, I couldn't look because it was closed, so... I just ended up going to my Barnes & Noble, and I had listened to a couple of chapters in the car. So before I left the house, I was on like page 289, and then I listened to a couple of chapters, and then by the time I got to Barnes, I was on page like 353. So then I just finished like the last 40 pages at Barnes. So this one I actually read the most physically. Sorry. I actually think I read like 140 pages of this one. Or I think I read at least 80 pages today and like 70 pages yesterday. So I read like 150 pages of this one. So this one I actually read the most physically. The other two, I only read like 100 pages of both of them. But still, I still read 100 pages of both. So yeah, that's it. Let me know what you guys think of the Hunger Games. Let me know what you think of its impact on the YA genre and fiction literature in general. I really would like to know your opinion, but I really do think that you should give The Hunger Games a chance if you never read it before. It's freaking mind-blowing, you guys. Like, I don't want to overhype it, but honestly, I can see why it was so damn impactful in the YA genre, and again, fiction in general. Like, you can't really write a fantasy book or YA book today without saying it was not inspired by the Hunger Games. So I think, like I said, Susan Collins is ingenious, and I think that this series was amazing.
And the way that she writes is so incredibly fast paced and keeps you engaged. Like I said, in every single page, every single word furthers the plot. And I just think it's amazing the way that she writes. So yeah, I loved it. It was amazing to me. And how many times can I say amazing? So I hope you guys have a great day and keep reading. And I'll let you guys know what I think of the prequels. I'm so excited to read them. I actually think, wait, hold on. I think I'm actually going to be destroyed by Sunrise on the Reaping. Everybody's like literally destroyed after reading that book. And since that's the book that I'm going to be going into the most blind, I mean, I don't really know anything about the Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes either. But I think that Sunrise on the Reaping is going to destroy me, but I'm so excited to read it. So yeah, that's it. Bye. Keep reading. Bye. Okay, so hey there, guys. So I did, like I said, finish the trilogy of the Hunger Games a couple of days ago. But I think at the end of this vlog, like literally now, I'm going to give you guys quick thoughts on the 2 prequel books because I still want to talk about them. But I didn't want to put them in like a whole separate vlog. So I actually just finished The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes last night. And I actually finished it a lot faster than I thought I was going to because I started it, I think Thursday night. And then I didn't even start reading it again until, well, actually, yesterday I read it all day. So I started it, I think I started it Wednesday night, and I started the audiobook. And then I started reading Swift and Saddled, and I finished Swift and Saddled, like, during the day on Thursday. That book took me, like, no time to read. But I also had started the audiobook of The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. Maybe I did start that Thursday night. I really can't even fucking remember. Maybe it was Wednesday night because I can't even remember when I started Swift and Saddled. According to Goodreads, I think it says Swift and Saddled, I started the 30th and finished the 1st. And Battles of Songbirds and Snakes, I also started the night of the 30th. Can I speak? So I think I started the audiobook then. And then I just read it Thursday, right. I started reading it more on my Kindle Thursday night. And I read like 70 or 80 pages. And then I also listened to the audiobook then. And I think I was up to page like 1 something. And then yesterday, I read quite a lot of it. But, why can't I remember? Yeah, Thursday night, and then yesterday I just read it the whole day. But I mostly listened to a lot of the audiobook. I think I read like pretty much like 100 pages on my Kindle, so I still read 100 pages yesterday. And then I listened to the rest of it because I loved the audiobook narrator for this. He was just so good. I really am a sucker for male narrators in general, but like, so anyway, I am struggling as to what my rating is going to be of this book because I keep on teetering between a 4.5 and a 5-star. Because honestly, I have not stopped thinking about this book since last night. This book was so... It's like crazy because it was so freaking good. But also like, for you to say that about this book, it's like a little bit crazy because it's like... You literally find out so much about why the Hunger Games are, I mean, the way that they are, but also why they even exist. And there's so many things that are in this book that, you know, refer to why the Hunger Games are the way they are. Like, why they have sponsors, why they get food in the arena, why everybody watches it in every district, because like the whole concept, I'm going to spoil it a little bit, but it's not like that spoilery. So basically like the whole concept of this book is how they came up with the first Hunger Games, which it's so twisted, but like, and also like, for people who don't like President Snow, you don't end up liking him by the end of this book. She literally, I think this is one of the most brilliant characters that someone has ever written in a book, because President Snow is probably the most hated character in the Hunger Games for good reason, but like, you just don't really feel for him the whole time. You're kind of like going through his reasoning in his head with him, but also you never really like him because you really can't. He's an unlikable person. He's an unlikable character for a reason. He's going to become a fucking tyrant, but also it's like, it's kind of like describing like the rise of like a dictator and what happened to them in their past in order for them, because everybody always like talks about somebody's past and why they became the monster that they are, why they became the way that they are. It all has to do with somebody's past, right? So there were just so many Easter eggs in this and so many references to the Hunger Games, and it was just so freaking good. Like, she also like talked about like why music is so important to the districts, because like they've had a lot of stuff taken away from them. Like, they barely have food, and basically, you know, it's always like a conflicting feeling that they have of like, what's the point of like doing things when most of us are going to get called to the Hunger Games anyway, and we're going to go to die. And it's such a sad concept. There was one point where I did tear up a little bit because one character got killed in such a like horrible way. Like, again, this book is not lighthearted. Like, they are heavy books. So that's why I was like, I need to take a break and I need like a little palate cleanser right now. But what was I gonna say before? I literally forgot. About like why like the games are sponsored and why people bet on the Hunger Games. So like, basically Snow was talking about to like, because this is him like growing up in school, and he's actually the very first part of the very first mentors of the first Hunger Games. So he is a mentor to one of the tributes in this book, and which is crazy to see his perspective on being a mentor, and the fact that I didn't even know that that's how he started out. Like, he started out as basically a coach for the Hunger Games, and then he becomes the President Snow that we all know in the Hunger Games that runs the entire thing. Oh my god, it's so good. So like the professor was asking the class like, so what would get people to watch the Hunger Games? Because it's like, it's this very in-depth discussion that they have about like human nature, and you know, mankind are just barbarians if it comes down to it, because we all know it's kind of very similar to Lord of the Flies, and I feel like, you know, Suzanne Collins was probably very influenced by Lord of the Flies, because like there's definitely a lot of that type of survivalist kind of writing in the Hunger Games, especially when they actually play them, because it's all a game to them. It's a sick, twisted game, obviously. And in Lord of the Flies, they all gotta kill each other. There's even one tribute that eats contestants, like, I mean, other tributes, and I think that happened like later on. But she also referred to like one character that actually did do that. I think maybe they did do it in this Hunger Games, like the first one, which is crazy. But anyway, I'm going off on such a tangent because honestly there's so much in this book that you could talk about this book for days. Like, oh my god, it was so mind-blowing. So like, I think I am going to change my rating to a 5-star. I loved this book. I thought it was so fucking fascinating. Oh, it was so good. I think I might change it. I loved it. Yeah. But I felt like I didn't get the 5-star feeling, but also like, I feel like this book is just so prolific in the Hunger Games universe now that it's like I really can't give it any less than a 5-star. It's just so good. So anyway, let me get to my point actually. So then the professor asked them like how would people watch the Hunger Games? Because people aren't sick and twisted. They don't want to watch people die. Like they had to convince the districts to watch the Hunger Games. So basically Snow comes up with this whole concept of like sponsors and making sure everybody watches it in all the districts, and like, but also he was talking about that he's originally from District 12, which we all know is Katniss and Peeta's district. So the fact that he literally has that deep of a connection with Katniss and Peeta because he grew up in the same district, and then he blows it up later in the books. He literally blew up his home. Like, that's sick, okay? That's sick, right? So, but then he left the Victor's Village untouched. Because it's right near District 12. And he literally founded it and made the Victor's Village. Because he's like, we need the mentors to stay separate from the tributes. So I'm going to make it's basically like the Olympic Village for like the Olympians and the Olympic Games. That's crazy, dude. That's crazy. So I just keep on realizing things as I'm talking about them. I'm like, damn, this book was so good. So like, they come up with this concept that they have to have, you know, TVs, and they have to make sure everything is like Hunger Games news, like 24/7 to like pump it into people's veins. But then they're like, also, we have to get people to want to be involved. They want people to be involved in the Hunger Games, so they have something to look forward to, or they have, which is so sick, but they also have something to be like involved in. So they come up with the concept of betting on the tributes and saying if you bet on your tribute, you're going to win a shit ton of money. Because you're betting on somebody getting killed, which again is disgusting, but oh, it was so good. So good. So again, I could talk about it for forever, but you just found out, you found out why Katniss's name is Katniss. You found out a lot about her father. And it just, oh my God, I loved it. I'm so glad I read this book before Sunrise on the Reaping. But also, like, this is probably, like, the one book that I literally was not sure I was going to read, like, really at all, because I heard, like, such mixed reviews about it, but I fucking loved it. I thought it was so fascinating, all the things that you found out, and, like, the references to what the snakes are and birds, and why Snow hates mockingjays so much. You got so much background on that. So good. And then you get the whole meaning behind the song that Katniss sings in the movies and obviously in the books, but the movies too. The Hanging Tree one. It's so sad when you find out, like, the real story behind it. Because, like, she's such a genius because, like, she drops what the story is about in, I believe, Catching Fire is when she talks about it. Yeah, I think it was Catching Fire because I think she sings it in that movie. She talks about, like, what the song is about, but when you find out, like, which characters it's about in the Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, it's really sad. And then, like, I had to pause the audiobook, and I had to take a step back for a minute, and I'm like, what? Oh my God, that's so sad. Like, what? Like, this book had me in a fucking chokehold, you guys. It was so, so good. So I'm gonna shut up now, because, again, I could talk about it forever. I'm still I think I'm going to think about my rating a bit longer, and I might not rate it until after I finish Sunrise on the Reaping. Sunrise on the Reaping, I feel like I already know it's going to be a 5-star because that's like everybody's favorite book. And like, I don't know if I'm prepared. I don't have the audiobook for this one. So I might just get my Audible trial back and just get it with an Audible credit. I might just do that. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So I will check in with you guys when I finish Sunrise on the Reaping, or maybe I'll do a halfway check-in, but mostly this was going to be a vlog just for the original Hunger Games series. And also, I finished part 1 of Mockingjay 2 days ago, so now I only have 2 movies left. I watched Catching Fire the night before, and then I watched Mockingjay part 1 last night. No, 2 nights ago. I would have watched part 2 last night, but then my friend I asked my friend if we could talk for like a few minutes, and then we ended up talking for like 45 minutes. So like at that point it ended up being too late, and I'm literally seeing him today in like 3 hours. So I was like, yeah, it's not like we can't talk about this stuff tomorrow, but I never shut up with people. So yeah, I will check in with you guys when I finish this book, and it'll probably finish me. So yeah, bye. Okay, so it's been quite a few days since I finished Sunrise on the Reaping by the genius Suzanne Collins, but I did finish it, I think like May 6th or May 7th, so it's been a few days, but I've been struggling with sickness, so like I got really sick last Monday, so bear with me. My voice is still recovering. But I did finish the book, or did it finish me? Yeah, I finished it like probably 5 days ago, and it's another 5-star, all right? Like literally every single book in this series for me, from beginning to end, is just 5 stars. But I actually think I said this about Ballad, I think I like the prequels more than the original trilogy. I think that the prequels are fucking mind-blowingly good because, again, we get so much backstory about why the Hunger Games are the way they are, and Haymitch's backstory at the end, oh my god. So fucking devastatingly sad. I did cry, but I think I cried a little bit less. But I did cry when I was trying to get ready to see my best friend on Tuesday, and I was already doing my makeup. I literally just started doing my eyeshadow, but I had to wipe off my eye makeup and redo it again. And then I knew I was going to cry again because something else devastating was coming. And I'm like, oh my god, if I couldn't finish the book when I was getting ready. I think I put on Lost and Lassoed. I'm like, I need to put on the complete opposite audiobook right now, or I'm literally going to cry all my makeup off. Like, I'm not even going to be able to get ready. So, yeah, it was that devastating. So I'd already cried once, because a lot of people die. I'm not going to say who, obviously, but a lot of people die at the end. And it was just so fucking sad. Like, but now you understand why Haymitch drinks so much. Oh my god, just so fucking amazingly good. So I've also watched all of the movies at this point, except for The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. I finally finished Mockingjay Part 2 like 2 days ago after like not watching The Hunger Games for like a few days. I finished Part 2, I think, on Friday night, even though I haven't been sleeping the past 2 days. I don't want to talk about it. I'm just so fucking tired. But anyway, but I'm dying to watch Ballad. I was hoping to watch it last night, but I didn't get home till almost 12 o'clock last night. So, because I went out with one of my friends, and I was talking to him until like 11:30 at night. So, there's that. But yeah, seriously, like, I still think my favorite book in the entire series, and I know this is such a controversial opinion, but hey, it's my opinion. I really don't care what people think. If this book is my favorite probably is Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. I don't know. I just loved the fact that, none of these characters are perfect. And I really love the way that Suzanne Collins writes her characters, because she knows that nobody is inherently good and nobody is inherently evil. We all have good and bad things that we do, that we wrestle with and reason with and negotiate with ourselves every single day of our lives, whether or not we're going to make a good decision or a bad decision. And we have to live with our bad decisions, but also live with our good decisions, and hopefully it's the result of the best outcome, because life is about making decisions and making good choices, so, and making bad decisions and making bad choices. So that's what she shows constantly in these books. Oh my god, I'm dying. I feel a tickle coming on. So anyway, Sunrise on the Reaping, so good. And now you realize why Haymitch and Plutarch are so close, and you also get the background on why Haymitch and Effie are so close as well. And you also get the whole reason, finally, why they do the Hunger Games every year. It's still a fucking sick and twisted answer, but the fact that she literally put it in, like, a paragraph in Sunrise on the Reaping, and that was it, I'm like, girl, this is what we've been waiting for the entirety of the Hunger Games universe. And I think the first book came out in, like, 2008. So we've been waiting 15 damn years for this answer. Or almost, like, 17 years, dude. Because she didn't say it in Ballad. She didn't say it until Sunrise on the Reaping. And I'm like, it was fucking worth the wait. Trust me. And at least I didn't have to wait 15 years because I read them all at the same time. Thank God. And actually, I'm kind of happy that I waited until now. Because I don't think I would have been able to wait 15 years. So, but hey, we're getting more Hunger Games books than Game of Thrones books, because that shit's never going to be finished, but I wouldn't even put myself through that. So yeah, I loved these books. I really can't rank them, though. I love them all equally. I just loved the whole reading experience and watching all the movies again. So I'm so excited to watch Ballad later. I'm not going to say anything else about Sunrise on the Reaping, though, but that movie comes out next December of 2026, which is a while off. But, you know, since the book just came out, it makes sense that it's not coming out till next year. I think the same thing happened with Ballad. I think that movie came out, I think, like, a year later after the book came out. Let's double check. I think the book came out in 2022. Oh my god, it came out in 2020? Why did I think it came out fucking almost 5 years ago. Wow. So I read it almost 5 years later because it came out May 19th. I didn't even realize it came out in May. So I read it literally the first week of May. I had no idea. How does that work out? How? I don't know. This shit happens to me all the time. So the movie came out, I think, in 2023. 2023 or 2022. Let me double check. I think it was 2023, though. Yeah, 2023. I think it was like November or December of 2023. November 17th. Okay. But it didn't get a very high review, but honestly, I'm so goddamn excited to see this. I bet it's still so good. Yeah, I'm still excited to watch it. I can't wait. I bet I'm gonna love it because, I don't know, Snow is the most fascinating character to me. I know he's a fucking piece of shit, but, and like I said, he still stays a piece of shit at the end of Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. Like, you don't like him still. Like, he's always gonna be an unlikable character, but that doesn't mean that he doesn't fascinate me on why he does the things the way that he does. But in Sunrise on the Reaping, the stuff that Haymitch does, he still has to make these awful decisions to become the victor. Like, if you guys already know that Haymitch won his Hunger Games. You find that out in the first Hunger Games book, and also he wouldn't be Katniss's mentor unless he won a previous Hunger Games. But Snow was like one of the first mentors in the entire Hunger Games universe because that was like the first Hunger Games. So yeah, it's just so good. I loved them. So yeah, that's it. So please like and subscribe. Follow me on my Instagram at CPW819 and check out my Goodreads. I will leave it in the link below. Please let me know what your favorite Hunger Games book is. Do you love them? Do you not really like them that much? Do you not really care? Let me know. Because I'm a nosy bitch. But yeah, after watching the movies, it was just so much fun. I honestly think I've only seen Mockingjay Part 1 and 2. I think I've only seen them in theaters, like when they came out. I don't remember watching them after that, because honestly, I could not remember a damn thing about Part 1 and 2. Literally nothing that happened in both of them. It was like I don't remember watching this. So yeah, I gotta go because my throat is dying. So bye. Keep reading, bye.